Coming at you live from Spreaker Internet Radio, where we put a new spin on spiritual development and paranormal activities. You're listening to Surfing the Cosmic Waves Radio. Time to listen into your host, Sonic Nova. Coming at you live from Spreaker Internet Radio, where we put a new spin on spiritual development and paranormal activities.
Welcome everybody to another segment of Surfing the Cosmic Waves with your host Sonic Nova, and today I'm going to bring in a very interesting character, a very colorful character that I'm going to channel for all of you. Everybody knows him, pretty much everybody. Very few people don't know or not aware of him. His name is Ascended Master St-Germain. He is a very dear friend of mine. I can certainly say that because we have spent quite a few years, not only in this lifetime, but in previous lifetimes where we spent time together. And I was listening to one of my podcasts that I did quite a while ago, that I did, oh boy, like in 2011. And he was talking in that, and there was about 30-40 people that attended this workshop. The workshop was about eliminating or strategies for getting rid of fear. And in that workshop, it was a 2-hour-long workshop. The abundant universe came up, this abundant universe, and that Saint Germain was going to do a class on this abundant universe and how to manifest. So I'm wondering how many of you are interested in that, are interested in how to create reality and how to manifest. I talk about this all the time when I'm on one of my psychic platforms, and I give people a recipe, literally a recipe for you to manifest whatever you desire. So I'll go through my steps first, and then I'm going to bring in Saint Germain, and he actually will go through, if you like, and talk to you about this abundant universe and how you play a role in it. So this is what I go through when I want to manifest something, whether it may be money or a new job or a new way to do my job, or for those of you that are not with a partner, they're, you know, a partner that you want to be with and you want to love. For those of you that want to go on a trip, for those of you, you know, it's a myriad of varieties of things that people can do, right? And so what I want to talk about today is how you can create reality and how we do. And I have a word that I have coined and actually is posted on my website, which is called miscreating. And I did coin that. Nobody has ever talked about this subject. So I'm going to talk about creating and co-creating with the universe, and miscreating with your ego, with your personality. So I'm going to make two very clear distinctions here. One distinction is that if you are creating with what I call my infinite self, or your infinite self, you actually are going to be co-creating with the universe to have a certain outcome and have things outpicture themselves into your reality. Okay? The other one is to miscreate with your ego, your personality that is, as I see it, and I think also, I know that Saint Germain is in agreement with me. It's like the petulant 5-year-old. Okay, I want, I need, and I'm gonna have my little berrinches, is what you say in Spanish, but I'm gonna have my little temper tantrum if you don't give me what I want. But guess what, folks? This is where you get in a pile of poop. So if you want to be knee high or higher in poop, go ahead and continue to let your ego, and actually I have an acronym for that, which actually I was given by somebody else. I don't remember who at this point, but I will give them credit once I remember who it was. But I call it, ego is edging God out. It may have been my dear friend Lily that taught me that one. So you're edging God out. Okay, isn't that interesting? with your ego. And your ego, whether it wants a new Ferrari or a new girlfriend that's basically a model, you know, all the things that you're programmed with the lovely mainstream media that is, let's say, not the greatest, okay, for your inner self or for your higher self. All those desires that you have that are of the ego, of the edging God out, guess what? You're going to miscreate. And you're going to create a ton of pain and suffering in your life because you're not going to receive that outcome that the ego wants. And that's what I discovered in my life. And I found that I was creating a tremendous amount of suffering because I was listening to my ego, if you like, okay? Which doesn't work, right? That definitely doesn't work. So if you want to miscreate things and really, like, if you find a guy or a woman that you're crazy about and that you just can't wait to have a relationship with, and you want to force this into existing, that's the ego. That's the petulant 5-year-old that wants to create that reality. And I could pretty much guarantee you that when you do have that relationship and you're in that condition with that person, a few years later, you're going to hit yourself in the head and go, oh my God, my ego is the one that desired this. I really don't want this. I really don't want to be in a relationship with this superficial person that I thought was the perfect one, okay? And we'll get into that subject another time about the perfect one because I get a lot of questions like that. So let's instead go into the realm of, now I want to co-create something in my life, okay? I want to co-create a partner that I can do my work with, that I could be, you know, that understands me, that I understand them, you know, that I could have the ability to communicate, the ability to be free, for that person to be free with me, for us to share our life, and for us both to do our works or our life's purpose, okay? That is not coming from the petulant 5-year-old. That is coming from what I call my infinite self and what Saint-Germain calls my God self, okay? That is a desire that's coming in from my soul and my higher self or my God self that wants to create a pretty balanced and harmonious relationship, okay? And that's basically what I feel I've created, okay, with my partner. So there's that aspect, right? There's another aspect too of wanting to create. So the ego is, here's the ego. I'll give you the distinction. The ego always wants things, fancy, expensive things, or nice, you know, the trophy wife, the trophy husband, you know, all the things that this society proclaims to be the ultimate, you know, and it's quite not true, okay? That's all ego stuff. The higher self, or the infinite self, what it will do is once you allow it and you surrender to it and you let it navigate your life, you will be wanting different things in your life that are more fulfilling, not only for you, but for others. Okay, I find that it's a very holographic experience instead of a very intimate me experience. It's all about me, okay? So I wanted to give you that distinction between the ego and what the ego wants and desires and what the God self will bring forth. Now, I'm not saying to put your ego to the side either or try and kill it. That's impossible, by the way. The day that you kill your ego is the day you literally physically die and don't exist on this dimension anymore. So the game here really, truly is to merge your God self with your ego self, sort of like, exactly like Saint-Germain proclaims, okay? And if you do this and you merge your ego with your God self and the ego self pulls back, you know, and you pull it back into the, if you like, the background of you, and you allow your infinite self to direct things, or your God self, you will find yourself in an incredible experience of life where there will be flow, effortlessness, and the things that you're desiring will manifest very quickly. It will be quite a shocker, okay? So I wanted to give you those two distinctions, and I feel Saint Germain really wanting to come into me right now. He's like itching to come in. He hasn't come in. Oh my God, the last time I brought Saint Germain, and it must have been 2011, end of 2011. So without further ado, I'm going to bring our dear guest, Saint Germain, who is going to talk about, and we're going to have a lovely discussion about this abundant universe. So without further ado, I'm going to go in the background and go into the disappearing phase of my transmedium. I am going to transmedium him, and I'm going to bring him in, and he's going to speak about this subject, and I'll be back when he's done. This may be a show that's going to be a lot longer than just my regular 1 hour show. So I'm just going to go with the flow of his, and he already said I'll go with your flow as well. And he's going to present this abundant universe, and then bringing in what you want to create in your life. So without further ado, I will part for a few, like less than 30 seconds to a minute, and bring Saint Germain forth so that you can listen to his incredible wisdom that he'll bring forth. So thanks for listening, and I'll be back shortly. Namaste, everybody. I am Saint Germain. Yes, I am an ascended master. I ascended in the 1500s, so you figure out how long I've been ascended. And this being that I'm speaking through, we call her the little one, by the way, in case you haven't heard this before, because she is so vast. And I'm so ever grateful that she is allowing me once more to come in and speak to all of you. I did come quite a while ago to speak about removing fear, and one of the things I did promise is that we would do a class on the abundant universe, or if you like, I will do a discourse. Some people call them discourses. I call them classes because they really are. So let's get down right to it, shall we? All right. So what I want to pose to all of you, and want you, before I pose this to all of you, is to open your minds and to really come to a place of receptivity. For this is the ultimate place of receptivity and surrender, that you actually will allow your God self, as the little one calls it, her infinite self, or yours, to come through, if you like, through the veil, through the shadows. It's been in the shadows far too long, and this is why your planet is such a mess. Would you all agree with me on that? My goodness, this planet is really suffering because most of your beings that are up there in their high seats of control have run amok of things because they're letting their ego, and I love that phrase that the little one used, they've edged God out. Well, guess what? You all as well need to edge God back in and allow your infinite selves or your God selves to start running the show here before you get run out of here. Anyways, that is what you all are manifesting, is being run out of here. And my desire when I was in the 1500s for most of these monarchs to end up in pig poles is about to manifest. So thank you all for creating this reality for all of us that have been waiting such a long time. Anyways, to get back to the main subject, the main focus is that I want to speak to all of you about is that you, all of you, each and every single one of you that is on this beautiful planetary system and this planet you call Earth, you all have a great power within you, far beyond what you can possibly imagine. And this great power within you that is far beyond your imagination, if you would just step into your God self, you would discover it. As long as you run amok with your ego, and you run amok with sitting in your ego and desiring things with your ego and letting it run control of things, you're going to continue suffering. Pure and simple. So if you all want to continue suffering, so be it. Let it be so. Right here. For those of you that are interested in changing your paradigm, that are interested in changing your perception and your misperceptions of reality, as the little one says, I love that word. Let's step in and see what parts, what aspects of your ego, and too bad we don't have any beings here listening to the show and texting back and forth with us, because it could get very interactive. I love when I have an audience and when I could speak to an audience, but nonetheless, I will speak to all of you and we'll see what flows from this, shall we? All right, so I want all of you to ingrain this in your heads. I want you to ask your ego, your edging God out aspect of you, your personality, to integrate with your God self, or as the little one calls it, the infinite self, because it is truly infinite. Isn't God infinite? Of course. And guess what? You have that in you. You have that infinite God being within you. It is the thing that gives you pulse, that gives you life, that lets your heart beat without you even having to think about it. Do you want your life to be on automatic mode and working perfectly, or would you like it to be distorted like it is now and have one distortion after another affect your life? Hey, if you're pig-headed like the little one used to be, so be it. The choice is yours. But if you want to surrender and stop resisting your God self, then you're going to have a little chat with your ego, with your personality, and take it on a little walk just like you would a 5-year-old, and let it know that it's made a muck of things. Wherever your life is not working and is a disaster, you need to bring that forth to your ego and ask it, do you want to continue living like this? This is a main question all you have to ask to yourselves, to your own little private self. You need to go on a little walk and ask your little self, your ego, your personality, do you want to continue suffering like we have been? Do you want to continue living in this way? Do you want to continue the smallness in our lives? And do you want to continue making a mess of things alongside with me? The choice is all yours. Immediately, if you've had a very traumatic experience, you'll hear this very quiet but very eager voice that's going to say, oh no, do not want to repeat that, not interested, I don't want to suffer anymore. So if you're done with your suffering, whether it may be you're suffering from an ailment, being out of ease with oneself, or whether it may be a relationship that's a mess, or whether it's your job, or whether it's the money that you lost, this is a key word I want you to keep track of, or whether it be a myriad of different things that you're unhappy of how your life's direction is moving forward, then you really need to listen in and pay attention, because I'm about to go into the other aspect, which is your God self and how it manifests anything you want. Or more like anything that the soul and the God self was in agreement to create here in your dimension, in the place that you have become physical, in physical vehicles that we literally call the body temple. Very well. So, if you're done playing the ego game and the control and domination game, which is what got you to that place of having the ego control everything in your life, let's look at how you could start surrendering. So the first thing I would like to do and ask you is to move forward into the place of looking at all the places that are non-functional, dysfunctional in your life. I want you to make a list. Write down a list of your non-functioning aspects of your life. Once you have that list written, then I would like for you to look at it and to see if you want to change these aspects or if you want to stay the same. A lot of beings like certain things that are not working in their life. Do you know why? It is because it's comfortable. It is because it's the way they think, it's just the way it is. It couldn't be further from the truth. It is that way because you make it so. Because you're allowing the ego to run amok at things. Very well. So, let's talk about this infinite, abundant universe that you live in and how you can play a role in creating that infiniteness yourselves. Let's look at this. Your universe has unlimited stars, unlimited planets, unlimited galaxies. You can't even count them. Even though your powers that be may tell you that they can count all the stars in the universe and all the galaxies, posh hosh. They're full of it. Believe me when I tell you this. It's infinite. This is why it's called a universe. So if the universe has that ability, and the universe was made from God source, or infinite source, as the little one experienced, what do you think you're made out of? What have we been talking about this whole 20 minutes of discourse, or a little bit less, let's say 5 or 10 minutes? We have been talking about the infinite universe and the infinite abilities for you all to co-create with your God being. So this is the mechanism. You need to ask your ego personality very gently and very kindly, not adversarially. The moment you become an adversary with your ego personality, guess what's going to happen? You are going to start an internal war inside of you. And we certainly don't want to do that. So, let's do this. We want you to actually ask very kindly, very gently, once you've created a relationship with your ego, your personality, to please observe and take a couple of steps back and learn how to trust the infinite self, as the little one calls it, or I like to call it the God self. To just take a few steps back, okay, into itself, and to not put its hand up, not ask a million questions, to just observe and watch how it unfolds. Step number 1. That is step number 1. The ego personality chooses to kneel and bow down to the God self and back up into the person where the personality lives, And then what we do is the next step is we ask the God self to embrace our being and take over the reins. So you ask your God self or your infinite self, dear infinite self or God self, I ask you to please take over the reins of my life and guide it to where I would like to experience, the things that I'd like to experience in this lifetime. It's very clear, isn't it? So first, your ego self backs up and relaxes into the God self, and then the God self takes over and starts running things, literally. But you must ask. If you don't ask, you will not get. So you have to ask your infinite self or your God self, please take over my life and direct it in the best and highest good possible for myself and others, so that I may have all these incredible experiences I'd love to experience. Got that, everyone? The little one had a conversation with her sibling, one of her siblings. And actually, she said she was going to tattoo this onto her shoulders so she could remember. So be it. If you need to tattoo it on your body, so be it. If you can remember this and write it down and have it in front of you and memorize it. And every time you have an issue, a miscreation, as the little one, that's her word, not mine, that she has coined, so be it. Those miscreations are going to teach you how to start being more humble and start co-creating with your God self in the universe. Very well. So let me speak about this infinite, abundant universe that literally is infinite, and your powers and the powers of the universe. The purpose of the universe is to create. End of story. And it creates all sorts of things. and all sorts of wonders and all sorts of interesting dynamics. That is it. The purpose of creation itself is to create. Those of you that are causing destruction on this planet and miscreating, watch out, because you're about to get bonked on the head and possibly bonked off this planet permanently, because this is not going to be allowed anymore. But that's only going to the few 100,000 that are at the top of your pyramid that are controlling everything. And they hear me loud and clear, trust me. So, but for those of you that are more humble, that have had, shall we say, the school of hard knocks hit you pretty hard in the head quite a few times, yes? And that you're ready to surrender your ego, your personality is ready to surrender and become a dance partner with your God self, then you're ready to take this to the next level. You're ready to create the next level, you see. So, let's start creating. Let's start co-creating, and that's why the little one says, let's co-create with the universe, because it is your infinite self that's co-creating with the universe itself. And start looking at the places where you feel you would like to manifest better things in your life. Like, let's say, a better job, or to receive a large sum of money. Like we always used to tell the little one, and she's so funny because she didn't realize who, but we always said that she was going to have a great being that was going to support her financially, if you like, that was a great fan of hers, and she could never figure out why till quite a few years ago when she discovered who and why. But nonetheless, this is what she's actually now coming into physical expression of, and it is going to be out picturing itself very soon for her, so that you could do a lot of great deeds here on this planet of yours that's going to need this in a very profound way. But because she is properly guided, if you like, by her infinite self, as she likes to call it, that definitely has the reins as opposed to her ego self or personality, this will be a great day when all this comes to fold, you see. Anyways, to get back, I always like to put a couple of things because she's not here. And when she listens to this, she's going to go, hooray, it's going to happen. Most certainly, dear beloved little one, this is going to happen for you, and I'm going to assist you in this process. I can guarantee you that I'm already working on it and moving some chess pieces for you so that we could get to the right person and that you could get your message across and that you could get your issue resolved without any more delays and no more of this problem that you've been having, which partially has been the ego personality, believing that it's not going to happen or there's going to be all kinds of roadblocks, and that's what I'm going to help you with, little one, when I have some time and you have some time for us to just sit and chat about this, and I will assist you in writing this letter that you need to write in order to release this. But nonetheless, let's get back to our audience, because that's who we're talking to. But I just wanted to give you the little one's life as an experience of what you can create as well. So for all of you, there's 5 areas that you want to create in a physical body, in your vehicles, if you like, your divine vehicles, which are your body temples. 1 is the spirit. This is what we're talking about. Exactly. We're talking about you bringing in the soul, which is the infinite self. It's the God self. Hello. And embedding it and letting it imbue into your body and allowing the ego, the personality that's been running everything amok, to take a step back and to allow the God self or your infinite self to drive your vessel and start navigating it in the right direction instead of the wrong direction. This is where the ego is going to start to learn how to navigate. If you ever wanted the keys to the universe, if you ever wanted the keys to this earth, the manual, how to navigate here, well, here it is, dear ones. So listen up. Very well. Step number 2. The ego is bowing is kneeling down in humbleness to the God Self, and the God Self is allowed to step into your body, into your mind, and into your soul. And from there, what you're going to do is you're just going to allow it to take you to the place that you need to or want to create. Okay? So let's do this. Let's start having you create in the 4 areas. So we first talked about spirit or soul. Second area is physical. For all of you that have physical issues with your body, we want to change that, don't we? The negative attention that you get from being sick is only making you sicker. So let's change that into making you healthier and how we can transmute and change that, shall we? Okay, step number 3, or part number 3, is we have the spiritual, the physical, the mental body. What you think about, the thoughts that you have are the ones you create. Now picture. Do you want to create negative ones or positive ones? If you have negative ones, speak to somebody you trust that won't put you down, that won't tell you, oh yeah, you're going to create that. In other words, you need to speak to a counselor, somebody that will listen to you and say, you know what? I'll be your trash can, and you can just start venting out all your fears and letting me know what your deepest fear and allowing that to transmute itself. That's the mental state. Once you have a clear mental state, then allow the information to come in through the soul into the mind, because it is, after all, God's mind, not your physical mind, that will bring forth this divinity, that will bring forth all these things that you want to experience here, and it'll bring it forth with such an incredible force that I want all of you to be prepared for it. Then there is the desire, right, of a relationship, of money. Those all have to do with the mental state. And they also have to do with physical states of having a relationship, of having money so you can have a roof over your head. In the meantime, I have to say that you'll have to create things to have shelter and food. When the banksters, which are all gangsters on your planet and have taken over your planet and controlled it, and so have the Jesuits, yes, and the Roman Catholic Church, which is the most evil place on this planet, when they all go by the wayside, by the way of the dodo word, which they are in process, this is all unfolding now, and there's no more currency that's being, shall we say, stolen and then not put into circulation. This is when your planet will no longer need your currencies, because all of you will be extremely wealthy. So, but until then, you must create what you want to do to earn an income, to bring money into your household so you can pay for your food and pay for your gas and pay for your heating and pay for all the different things, right? So I want you to pay attention to this. The financial aspect of you, how in balance is it? If it is not in balance, I want you to take note and write down all the different aspects of you not being, if you like, in balance or in a certain place of happiness and joy. If there is a lot of disparity there, you need to write down all the things that have happened and where you're at. And really account in a very sober way about where you really are financially, where you want to be. And what are you doing? If you're doing a humdrum job that you hate and you don't like it, why are you doing it? Why are you doing that job? Why don't you do what you love? That's when your soul starts to come in and embed into your body, and your ego or personality takes a step back, and you'll start to have, all of a sudden you'll go, I hate my job. I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that anymore. And you'll start to realize what you really want to do. And this is what you should do. Truly. I know this is scary for many of you, but if you start doing what you love, you'll start to see the results almost instantly of starting to change your life around. You have to have faith. Like we told the little ones, you must fly on wings of faith and take little baby steps. So, the other thing that I want to speak to you about is relationships. My goodness, all of you that are lost in these relationships, we call it the negative side of relationships, yes? And many of you are in these relationships that are actually abominations of what you should really truly be into. If you're with someone or they're with you and they're trying to control, dominate your life, you're in the wrong relationship. We're sorry to say this, but you certainly have miscreated in this case. If you're not in a relationship and you desire a relationship, well, we definitely suggest you get together with the little one, have a little session with her, and she'll get you on the right path to start co-creating with your God self. So you could start co-creating the partner that you could be with and that you could have a great experience with and enhance one another, not put each other down. If you're in a partnership where you're putting your partner down or they're putting you down, guess what? That's a big red flag letting you know that you're in the wrong partnership. If you're in a partnership where you're enhancing one another and you're supporting one another and you're assisting one another, then you're in the right partnership. So those are the 5 areas of life, correct? We've covered all of them. So what we are going to ask you, I'm going to ask you, is for you to please, if you want to create a different reality, to kneel down, literally, have your ego kneel down with you and ask your ego, yourself, and your God self to be partners, to become partners, and for you to start the ego surrendering the reins to your partner who's your God self, that will lead you to the outcome that you've been desiring all this time and making a muck of things. So this is something I wanted to speak of before I go into the next subject. Your universe, literally, there's a universe that you live in, and the planet here, the beings here that are controlling, we're like, well, there's not enough water. There's never enough for these beings, you see. That's why they rape, pillage, they control everything, they hoard everything, because there's never, they come from a place of lack. Anyone that hoards is a lacker, a lackey. They're lackey. That's why they hoard it, because they're afraid that the next day they're not going to have anything. But now it's gone into overdrive, into a place of absolute insanity, that none of you deserve this kind of treatment or this type of craziness going on. So you must all put a stop to it. There are some very brave starseeds on your planet right now that are actually doing this. And we applaud them. That was for all of you that actually are standing up to the machine, so to speak. Because you are changing the dynamic here and you are changing reality here on your planet. So we really praise you for that. Anyhow, for those of you, I want you to understand how this universe is ever abundant. There is a galaxy within your, close by to your galaxy. It's called the water galaxy. Do you know why? Because water is coming out of it. It's literally pouring out of the center of this galaxy and spurting out into space. So where's the lack? Only in these people that control your planet's mind and very distorted, very sick heads that they have. There is no lack, dear ones, and neither are you all in lack except for the beliefs that you have taken on. Your beliefs are something that was a learned behavior from the moment you came into this planet, and it's up to you to transmute it. Again, once again, if you're looking to transmute your distorted way of being, you must seek help. And we highly, definitely recommend the little one because, boy, she's doing some amazing work with people right now and really helping them transmute a great deal of things. Anyhow, to get back to this, the universe is unlimited in terms of creating, manifesting, and providing. It's ever, ever creating. You are no different. Each and every one of you is exactly like the universe. Ever flowing, ever creating, or like the little one says, you're either creating or you're miscreating. So you've got to become super cognitive, highly conscious, and extremely aware of what areas you are creating and co-creating with the God self, with your ego self, and with your own self, and which areas you are literally miscreating and where the ego is stepping in and poop knee deep. This is the places that you need to sit down and really take accountability for. And once you do, there is a way to change this. Do you all want to learn how to do that? I'm sure you do. So I will continue on. How you want to change this is very simple. All of you need to do the following. You need to create a very sober evaluation of where you are in your life and where you want to be. The places that you want to be and you're not there yet, or you're quite the opposite, we want you to do this exercise. Please trust us. We want you to surrender this and let go of it. To let go of this desire that you want, because you're miscreating it anyways, right? So why have it? So we want you to go into a neutral state of no expectations. We taught this one to the little one. Stay neutral and no attachments to outcome. That is the key. If you want to manifest, that is the key to the universe. No expectations, stay neutral, and no attachments to outcome. That's how you will create this. Put it out there, write down what you desire, ask your infinite self or God self to embrace this and to create it for you. And you just sit back and enjoy the ride and let your ego do the same. If your ego tries to take the reins, ask it very gently and very kindly. Hey, we had an agreement. We really screwed up the last couple of things we wanted to manifest, didn't we? And we ended up worse than when we started. And when the ego says, yep, you're right, then you can say, let's do a little experiment, shall we? Let's let our God self or our infinite self create this and see how it does it. And let's just be the observers, shall we? And when you get agreement from your ego, you'll notice, you'll feel immediately that ego is going to step back, and guess what? You're not going to be in resistance anymore. One of the favorite things that the ego does is stay in resistance, and that's why you can't manifest. What you resist will persist, and will continue to resist and persist, and will continue ad infinitum. So one of the key things about manifesting what you desire is to surrender, to let go, and be in the flow. To be in the flow with the universe. And all of you have done this before. I know you have. I know all of you have had the great ability of surrendering, especially when things haven't worked out and you've gone, okay, I'm going to surrender into this. Just surrender to your desires. And don't put in all these details about what you want. For God's sake, let the universe be the intelligent one that fills in the blanks for you in the details so that you can create something so magnanimous that you would have never possibly conjured it up, imagined it, or even thought about it. So this is why we tell you to not be so detailed. Let the dirty details be told by the universe and unfold them onto you. And just generalize what you want and let the universe bring you the rest. We promise you it'll be better for you. It'll serve a higher purpose. It will serve you and it will serve everyone else. Then all of you with the little details about I want a red Ferrari car and I want it to be red leather and I want the front wheel to be white and I want the console to be purple. My God, like spoiled little brats, aren't you? Yes, I'm speaking to you little rich brats that want these specific things because you know that your mommy and daddy's going to get it for you. Well, what if they say no and you miscreate that and now you have to create it on your own? Let go of the colors and the details and let the universe bring you your highest good. That's the other thing you need to ask for. You need to say, universe, this is my desire. I desire to be on national television and be television celebrity. Now you do the rest. That's it. You say no more, you do no more, and then what you do is you don't stand there every day with your little hand on your hip going, well, it hasn't happened yet. That's your ego, dear ones. So you ask the ego when it does that, you go, ego, please stand back and allow the God self to create this. Because what you're doing right now is you're causing it not to create. Do you want to go back to the life we had? And the ego's going to go, oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to do that. I want to be omnipotent. Well, then, you know what? We have some lessons to learn from our God self in order to be omnipotent. So let's sit back and watch. So we want to be a major celebrity on TV. Very well. Let it be so. Now, I'm going to ask you to do the following. You may write it down. You can put it in a book and put it away. You don't have expectations about it. You stay perfectly neutral. And you don't have attachments to outcome. What we always say, and the little one always says this, and we taught this to the little one. Your job is to ask the what. Our job, or the universe's job, and the God's self job is the what and the when. The who and the what and the when. When it's going to show up in your life, and who's going to show up in your life to assist you in it. Your job is only to figure out the what. You guys got it? Great. That's how you manifest. And then you let it go. You let it dissipate into thin air. It'll come to you in the appropriate time frame when you're most receptive. That's the other thing that's very important. When you ask for these things, you got to tune into yourself and see if you're in the flow or are you standing in the way. The reason why most of the things don't manifest for any of you, or most of you, shall I say, is because you stand in the way of it manifesting. Why? Because there's two types of thinking here on this planet that needs to be changed. One is I'm not enough, which means I never have enough things and never have enough of this or that or the other. It's not enough. It's not enough. That's ingrained into you. That's a pattern that needs to be reprogrammed. And the other pattern that some of you have, a good portion of you, is I'm worth nothing. I am nothing. Therefore, how could I possibly deserve to get anything? Does that make sense? Of course it does. So that needs to be deprogrammed as well. So do it. Deprogram those two programs, because the opposite is absolutely the truth. We'll tell you another universal truth, especially for this planet. It is more for this planet, this truth, than it is for anything else. The truth about your planet is that it is infinite in providing, if you treat it right, because it is a living, breathing being like you, and don't squeeze out all the synovial fluid out of it, because then you'll cause chaos and disorder like it is now. And the other thing that I have to say about this is that you want to surrender all of this to your God self, to the universe, to help you co-create this. And it's none of your business when it shows up or who through it shows up into your life. But you'll know when it does. You'll have the certainty. Some things take longer, some things take shorter time. Why? Because you're not in a place of receivership. You're not in a place of surrender. And an aspect of you is still holding on. So what is that? You're basically not allowing things to unfold as they could faster. And that's because you're in resistance, correct? So let go of the resistance and be in the flow. And allow things to just flow. Flow the way that they're going to flow in order for you to get your desired outcome. Make sense? I don't care what it is, dear ones. I don't care if it's a bag of pistachios that you desire, a new car, if it's a new home, a new relationship, a child. Now let's speak about that. Right now your planet is in such a devastating mess that a lot of you women can't give birth. Well, hello. And you're so toxic anyways. And some of you have to realize that instead of being mothers of your own children from your own genealogy. Maybe you could go find a child that's unwanted that you could be a mother to. Better than actually them suffering and you suffering. Correct? Anyhow, let's continue on. So what is it that you desire? Put it on paper, let it go, and let the universe bring it to you. Like I said, the what is your business? The how and when is none of your business. So this is how you manifest. And you can manifest whatever you desire. From gold falling out of the sky, literally, to having $1 million show up in your bank account, to all sorts of miracles, to being healed and completely transmuting your cancer, your MS, AIDS, whatever it may be that's afflicting you. You see, we're coming into a time where you all came here to learn how to be masters. Ascended masters. This is the course to ascended mastership. And you've come to the planet that's allowed this. But I'll tell you what, she's closing her doors now. No more of this. She's coming into a time frame where the souls that are here are only going to be high vibrational frequency souls and ready to go to the next paradigm. And for all of you that are stuck in concrete with your concrete thoughts and your dysfunction at the top of the pyramid, you think you're in control of everything. You're so out of control. You've made a muck of things here on this planet, and you're about to get walked all over. Your worst fears are about to become manifest. And no, we are not going to help you to change that anymore. You're walking right into your destiny that you've created for yourselves. Because destiny, my dear ones, each and every one of you creates it for yourself at every moment. There is no such thing as things being stamped into a stone and that this is going to happen. That is posh, not true, not so. So keep that in mind. Anyways, dear ones, I think that it's time to bring the little one back for the last few minutes of this segment. She is quite tired because she is fighting a little bit of, shall we say, catarrh. So I don't want to drain her energies. I want to revitalize her and give her strength. And so I'm going to leave with these words. You are the creator gods of this universe. And you've come here to reawaken that within yourselves. And once you become self-realized and realize that you are a God in a human body, creating reality at every moment, that is when you'll really start to pay attention of the things you want to create, miscreate, and you'll become more acquiescent to your soul, to your infinite self, or your God self, to create in this reality. And with that, we thank you. Namaste. We all bless you. We praise you for being here at this time frame. And we say good night, good day, good morning to all of you around the planet. Namaste. All right, I'm back. Wow, that was quite the discourse. I'm sure I'll get it. I don't remember a whole lot of it, but he's quite the character, and I'm glad that we had this time together here on this radio show, which is quite an exciting and fun radio show to Surfing the Cosmic Waves. With me, your host, Sonic Nova, and I hope that you guys enjoy this segment. Hopefully, as this radio show starts to take off, we'll have more and more viewers that come on board, that listen to the show, that actually interact with us, and share their opinions, their thoughts through type chat. In the meantime, I just wanted to give you guys heads up. Next week, I don't know what I'll talk about, but I'm sure it's going to be quite an interesting topic. And I wanted to close the show by letting you guys know to listen to the previous segment about letting go of your fears, and then listen to this segment about creating reality and creating whatever you desire. I'm sure St. Germain did a phenomenal job of providing that information to you guys. And I'm sorry I didn't feel quite like up to snuff today. I've been fighting a little bit of a sore throat, cold and stuff. So I'm gonna need to go pamper myself and take care of myself. So I'm gonna say good night for now. See you next week, same time. Surfing the Cosmic Waves is broadcasted live on Tuesdays, every Tuesday from 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And for those of you guys that are on the other side of the world, you gotta figure that one out. Every Thursday, and we look forward to seeing you here on Surfing the Cosmic Waves with your host, Sonic Nova.
This radio show is a live, interactive internet radio show where we explore our multidimensional, true and divine nature. Here is where we enlighten and brighten your lives with all sorts of amazing, inspirational, and eye-opening information, from the occult to the extraordinary.